Right. Number 45. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. Today we are joined by Mr. Grip and Rip himself, Nick Jones.
Hello there, how's it going?
Thank you for joining us, mate.
Pleasure to be here.
First of all, sorry Nick to cut you off. Before we begin, as always, thank you very much to our sponsors, Usk Stoves at MP40JL. You can get all of your heating and log burning needs. Keep your house warm this summer. But anytime you pop in, you get 10% off by saying you're a fan of the podcast. So thank you very much to the guys at Usk Stoves.
Happy days. Yeah. So Mr. Grip and Rip, aka Nick Jones. For those that don't know you, I would say you're pretty much almost the figurehead of promoting weightlifting in the country and the UK, right? So can you explain who you are to the viewers that don't know you?
Oh, okay, so I would say, my name's Nick Jones. I've been a media person or media brand in UK weightlifting for 3 years now, coming on to 3 years or more. It all started, my sort of journey started back in the days of our old weightlifting club, and doing bits of media there, just a bit on the side, just for a hobby, because I enjoyed it, sort of training, and then make some content in the evenings for the club and for myself. Then from that, got a job with Weightlifting House. And that was a hell of an experience. That was my first proper job in media. Before that, I just worked in a school as a teaching assistant, and I didn't hate that job, but it's not what I wanted to do. So I was sort of desperate to get out and to get into the media space. Had a few interviews for various sort of companies and brands, some rugby club podcasts that I didn't get. And then Weightlifting House came calling, and went through the interview process, got the job, and then left home, went up to Birmingham, and within a few weeks I was in Albania at the European Championships in 2022, filming Lasher and Carlos Nassar and all that stuff, and that was awesome. I didn't last long there. I was there for about 3 months. I think, looking back, I was still very much at the beginning stages of my career, so I wasn't quite good enough for what they were looking for, looking back now. And then after I left Weightlifting House, or got let go from Weightlifting House, moved back home, and twiddling my thumbs, not really knowing what to do. And I always had this discussion with Seb from Weightlifting House, that we sort of had this discussion after work. I wanted to, or I would try and push more UK weightlifting stuff, or Weightlifting Ireland stuff. And being at the European Championships in 2022, the whole of Team Ireland were there, like Sean Brown and Hannah Crimble and Rebecca Copeland and all these Irish lifters, and they were there together as a team. And I said to Seb, hey, we should do a video on that. Let's do a video on that and them. And Seb says, yeah, sure, go for it. Knock yourself out. And I did. And it probably one of the more lesser performing videos from the European Championships. It didn't perform the same way that a Lasher video would do, or Carlos. And Seb's argument for not doing as much weightlifting, UK weightlifting stuff, which I always thought I totally understood the argument, is if the standard was higher, he would post more of it, because that's the business model, which perfectly makes sense. And I will argue against that argument, but I can't sort of discredit him for having it. It's a perfectly legitimate point to have.
In the sense that people just want to see big lifts. And
people want to see this. Yeah, exactly. They're not. We don't have a Carlos Nassar. We don't have a Lasher. We don't have. We got Emily Campbell. Getting on the women's side, but on the men's side, we don't have that standard of lifting. No. And my counter argument was, the standard will get higher if you put a spotlight on it. We've all grown up in Wales. We have a rugby background, or been surrounded by rugby. That's because it's been shoved in our faces since we were 8. You walk in St. David's Centre, and there's a statue of Gareth Edwards, passing a rugby ball. And a sport like that grows, in my opinion, because people are able to watch it. So I would like to think now that, being able to, through the work I've done, and people being able to see that work down the line, that will bring more people into the sport, get the standard higher. I would like to think that one day we will have another Chris Murray,
another Emily Campbell.
Yeah, another Emily Campbell, because someone has seen my work that I've put out there and put a spotlight on UK weightlifting. I think I have the video of Chris Murray's double bodyweight snatch from the English Championships in 2023.
Yeah.
It's out of focus, but I was there. I was there.
You still did it.
The photo was good. But that's now out there for everyone to see, and I hope that a young person has seen that video and gone, I want to be a weightlifter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the argument I've always had. And that's what motivated me to do grip and rip after my weightlifting house time there. And I've been doing that for 3 years now, and that's kind of my core mission is to just promote UK weightlifting.
So before you were Mr. Grip and Rip, though, you were Nick Jones.
Just Nick Jones, yeah.
Just Nick Jones.
Just
so
Nick.
we're gonna go from the start, because you've had quite a long sort of career in the sport and other sports as well. Both competitively and through your sort of filming and media career. So your early years. Let's talk about those to start with. So Nick Jones, I know you mentioned there rugby. So you were first, before a weightlifter, a rugby player. Yeah. Can you divulge some information about your early rugby career, please?
Yeah, yes, I can. I suppose like most young boys going to rugby through school. Yeah. My first rugby club was at Abergavenny.
Nice.
Played,
Abergavenny.
Big Aber. Played there for the under-16s and for the youth.
Yeah.
And then sort of went through my rugby career, moved to Newport High School All Boys in Clean, and then was there for a couple of seasons as a youth, and then went on to uni to play for Uwick. And really enjoyed my time at Uwick. Like for any young rugby player, if you want to sort of like get a different outlook on life and play rugby, do it in uni, because obviously if you if your background's in small towns in Wales, you get everyone. You get everyone in Wales. You get your tribalism. You get your rivalries like Pontypool, Blaenavon, and Tallywhaine, and all that. And that's all well and good. But then you go to uni and you're meeting boys from England, from Scotland, from all over the country, and you get a different outlook on what rugby culture is like. Yeah. So that was amazing. And then halfway through my uni years, I did a lot of sevens and met a coach called Nick Wakely. Right. And he was, I would say, sort of instrumental in moving me, sort of getting me out of, not say getting me out of, I didn't have anything to do one summer. I wasn't invited back to preseason with Uwick. And so I called Nick up and I was like, hey, I've got nothing to do. I've got no preseason training. Do you have anything for me? Any sevens tournaments and whatnot? And he had just got hired as the head coach for Glamorgan Wanderers. He said, Wanderers. Yeah, I said, by all means, come down to the Wanderers, have some preseason training with us. And next thing I know, I'm playing for the Wanderers. And I've left Uwick and didn't give Uwick a heads up. So it was like, I'm not going to be playing for you this season. Yeah. And I spent my final years at the Wanderers, that was the perfect balance of a great culture, good social, good environment, having a laugh, and like a professional environment where it's like, okay, we're playing to win, and we're doing it to a high standard. And played for them for 3 seasons, while at the same time discovering weightlifting and doing weightlifting in uni. So when I was at uni, I would, through my course, which I was doing strength and conditioning and rehab, there was a weightlifting element to the course. Yeah, got involved in a weightlifting club. Still playing rugby, so during the week I would train snatch, clean and jerk, and then on the weekend I'd be playing rugby. Getting absolutely battered, and on Monday being like, why can't I lift my shoulder above my head, And I think at some point it just sort of came to a clash. I'm not very good with doing 2 things at the same time. I'll want to do one thing really well. I'm not very good at splitting my energies. I like to focus on one thing, and I'll have that internal battle in my head. And it just came to a point where we were warming up for a rugby game. Can't remember who we were playing, but I was having this conversation in my head of being like, I want to be on the platform right now. I want to be doing snatch, clean and jerk. And that went on for a good 6 months in my head, until one day I just sort of turned up to the Wanderers on a Tuesday afternoon, spoke to my coaches and went, I don't want to play rugby. I don't want to play rugby anymore. And they were gutted. They didn't. It was out of left field. Had some sort of like emotional conversations with my coaches, because I got along with them really well. Yeah. And they were like, look, obviously you have our blessing. Good luck to you. We'll miss you if you ever want to come back. And I said, thank you. And I didn't come back. I just went on with weightlifting. And that's when my weightlifting journey started, back in 2016.
How old are you then?
I would say 25. So I was doing weightlifting.
So you're quite early on to quit rugby then.
Yeah. 2016. Yeah, 2016 was my last rugby game. I was doing weightlifting up until like a few years before that. So 2012, 2013. So I was doing weightlifting for a good couple of years. But it was in 2016. I was like, right, it'd be like early 2016 or late 2015. Can't quite remember. But it was about then. And that's when I went on my weightlifting journey.
And what position were you playing?
Winger fullback.
Winger fullback. Okay, right, okay. So, question for you then, for the viewers. If you could compare yourself to a professional player at today's game, who would you compare yourself to?
Oh, God almighty.
Are you going to be modest, or are you going to go all out?
Who would I compare myself? Out of the modern game, probably no one. I don't. In terms of like, they're all huge now.
Yeah,
you know. But back then, I was a big fan of Christian Cullen, the New Zealand fullback, and like sort of that kind of player that not like a George North player, not like they're all 6 foot and above now.
Not gonna just smash through players.
Even Lee Halfpenny was an outlier, but I loved that kind of running. Just grab, like, am I going to
catch a ball,
and run? Don't kick it, so I slice it, go straight out. Just run, and that's why I based my sort of rugby play around. So out of any player, I thought of myself as a Christian Cullen. Whether I was a Christian Cullen or not is a different story.
Is that the typical watching YouTube highlights before
all
a game?
The time,
I'm gonna try that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It never comes off.
I tried one. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I like rugby league as well. And one of my favourite fullbacks was Billy Slater, who played for Melbourne Storm, and he did this amazing thing where he would like go left, cut in right, and then kick back to the left and chase it and score. And I tried that, and it fucking it was awful.
It always goes tits up when you try it.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So 25, you give up rugby, go into weightlifting
full time. Yeah.
And with the weightlifting side of things, then did you have aspirations then straight away of competing and going forward with that, or was it just the pure love of weightlifting that dragged you away from rugby?
It was both.
Yeah,
it was definitely both. Like, I wanted to, like, I won't shy away from it. I was like, I want to go to the Commonwealth Games. I want to get my singlet for Wales. I want to do really well and do it to the best of my ability. But at the same time, I absolutely loved it as well. I loved snatch, clean and jerk. I loved training. I loved squatting. I loved getting stronger. And like, I think part of it is like, if you're good at something or good enough, that gives you more of a, I'm good at it.
Buzz for it. Yeah,
it's easy to enjoy it. If you're
exactly.
Good at something.
Yeah. And I didn't find it a struggle to do any of that stuff, to do any of the movements. So, it was definitely a mixture of, I loved doing it and I wanted to be good at it. And with rugby, as much as I loved rugby, you can, like, my example of going from Uwick to the Wanderers, I went at Uwick. I was bounced between the seconds and the first team. Go back and forth. Didn't really quite not fit in, but my sort of style and what they wanted out of me as a rugby player didn't fit sort of Uwick way. Like, I wasn't that strong in the contact area. Rucking and anything like that, or looking after the ball when I got tackled was not a thing. I was poor at that, but then I went to the Wanderers, which is a similar sort of, just a league below, but now they're in the same league as Uwick, and they were like, you're great, like, fantastic, you really fit in. Let's just give you the ball and you go
play
run. I fit the play style, and that's just down to opinion, and that happens a lot in rugby. Whereas with weightlifting, it spoke to me more of like, if you hit the lift, if you got the total, you're in the team, or you've made the competition, or you've hit a qualification standard. It was very black and white, and I liked that. I would say that was that's why I liked more. That's why it spoke to me more.
So Charlie and I both met you through Willpower Weightlifting. How did you find Willpower?
Oh, that's a good question. I was at Bucks in 2014. Which back then was a very, very small competition done at St. Mary's in Twickenham. And I was with the Uwick weightlifting team, and a few of our members were being coached by Justin Holly at Willpower. So he came along with us.
Nice.
And he helped coach some of us, and he coached me in the back room on that day. And I missed, in the clean and jerk, I missed 115 twice on the platform before then hitting it. And on the drive home, literally was just dropping him off at his house. He turned around to me. He said, "On Monday, you are going to clean and jerk 115 5 times, and you are not leaving until you do it." And I was like, "Okay." And that was the last conversation I had with him for another 6 months. Until then, I got a message off him, and he was like, "Come to Willpower, come train with us for the summer." And I was one of the last people, I think, who got invited. I like to remember. I remember that as like being a strong something to like brag about. Whereas after that, everyone had to be vouched for, and that was the vouching system. So that's how I ended up being a Willpower. I graduated uni in 2016, left uni and went straight into Willpower, and was there for the next 7 or 8 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you see any similarities between the sort of rugby culture and weightlifting culture? Obviously, like, Willpower is almost like a one-off example, but you could go into any club, like these clubs up north, these clubs around the country that you could kind of go into and get that same vibe as
Yeah.
almost like a rugby changing room kind of banter, lads, girls, you've got the competition element.
Yeah.
Did you find that with Willpower going
straight away.
from
I
morning?
think that's why I felt like such an affinity towards the club straight away, and that's why I wanted to stay. After I graduated uni, I wasn't really sure what I would do next. I had friends who had some friends who had like left the country, gone to Cyprus, and was working there, and they're still there now. I had some friends go to Bristol and other cities, and I thought after a couple of months maybe I would make a decision as to what I would do with my career. But then I decided like I will hold off any sort of thinking about what my profession would be.
Yeah.
And I would take any job that I could take in the time period that I had left to be a good weightlifter. So I would take jobs to be a good weightlifter. So it was like, I want to stay here at Willpower. This gives me the best shot of being a good weightlifter. I love the people here. I love the culture here, the team environment, the atmosphere and all that, as well as the coaching I was getting. So I was like, I'm staying here, and everything else revolved around that. So then I would get different odd jobs, worked in all sorts, tried some things worked, some things didn't, and then ended up going into teaching or being a teaching assistant at a school because those hours suited it. Yeah, absolutely suited. I would finish at the school around about 3:30 or 4, depending on the day, and I either pop home and have some food, or I go straight to Willpower. Yeah, and that was like my life in my late 20s and early 30s. So I would say and in terms of like similarities in terms of like rugby culture, yeah, absolutely. And I would put that sort of down to, I think Geordie had a big say in that in terms of how he carried himself, and he came from a rugby background as well. Sort of things like like, this is the time we're training at. We will be on the platform at 5:30. If you want to get warmed up, get here at 5. As well as other stuff like if we're going to a competition, if we're going to North Wales, like right, we're going together, we're traveling together, get an Airbnb together, organising it. And that I don't want to say like Geordie brought that culture from rugby, but then that was a team effort. Everyone got involved in doing that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny to think. I was just thinking. I was about to ask you. What are your earliest memories of competing in the sport for Willpower? And I was thinking about your role in competitions now in terms of filming. And it's mad to think when I joined the sport after you. I joined the sport after you in terms of joined Willpower and definitely started competing years after you started competing. But like I remember my earliest competitions at like Wild Ball, Bangor, a few other places, and like a media presence was like there was nothing. And then it seemed like all of a sudden your introduction to Grip and Rip exploded it, and then everyone kind of wanted to have a piece of it. But to go into those earliest memories of competing for Willpower, what were they like? What were the nerves like? What were the competitions like?
Well, just on your point there, I think when I first started competing, there wasn't that many tier 3s. So I would say that like I am now sort of spoilt for choice in terms of tier 3s that I can go to, like your Wild Balls, like your Liverpools, like Crazy Strength and Stone Strength, and all over the country. But when I was competing, that they were few and far between. Yeah, you would have your Bucks, your age group competitions, your Welsh sort of opens and stuff like that, and that was pretty much about it. Obviously the British and whatnot, but in terms of there was not as many tier 3s back then as there are now, so locally run competitions. And back then, in terms of media personnel, it was Ramsey who ran Under the Bar. He was the one who said to me, "Go." Just when I'm in an arm and whether I do grip and rip, he's like, "Just go do it."
Carry on.
Like, you'll
carry on the legacy.
Carry it on. He'd be like, give yourself a while to get up and running. He said, but from those major competitions, you'll do just fine. And then sort of whatever scraps I can get from smaller local competitions. They came about as I started doing it. They maybe were about for maybe a year. So I would say that was. Sorry, what was the question you asked? Because I carried on off your point. I like the first point.
So what was in terms of the competitions and your earliest memories of competitions for Willpower? What were your kind of feelings around those, and which competitions were they for the listeners?
Yeah, I think the first competition I did for Willpower was in November 2016, and it was a Welsh Open it was done at Wiz in Cardiff. So back when we had competitions in
That's
Cardiff.
cool, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like, why haven't we got a fucking Cardiff competition?
Because we broke the floor. We
yeah.
broke the floor.
But still,
no, I didn't break the floor. I wasn't
Yeah.
lifting enough.
Yeah.
Someone broke the floor who's a lot stronger than me.
Some fucker.
Yeah. And that was my earliest memories. And the back room in those competitions were really not that much bigger than this room, to be honest with you. And so I have one platform. You have a load of platforms this side, a load of platforms that side, and a very small, narrow runway in the middle. And they were fantastic, especially when you had in our sort of group, it would be I'd be lifting, Twain, Tom Wayne would be lifting, Rod Bynon. And then you'd have like Theo be helping out coaching, so would Geordie, and Mikey Farmer. So about 6 of us. And there were a few other, but Will Bevan, plenty of other lads in the mix. Maybe 6, 7, or 8 of us in that room, going absolutely balls to the wall, whooping and hollering, dancing around the fire, weightlifting. And there's the rest of the competition be like, who the fuck are these guys? And it's such a small space.
Like the Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, and then we just like, run out and giving it the big one. And that was my sort of earliest memories lifting for Willpower. With that group of people. And back then it was a bit smaller, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger as the club got bigger, and the sizes of the teams that we took to Willpower got bigger. But that energy doesn't dissipate with more people. It just amplified.
Just
I remember we went to, in 2017, a year later in 2017, we went to Bangor, and I think we took 19 lifters and won 14 medals. And I got injured, unfortunately, the week before, so I couldn't compete, but I already paid for the accommodation. I wanted to go, so I went with everyone, and I just got to watch weightlifting for the whole weekend. Just that energy of just in that big hall in Bangor, where there's every opportunity for the energy to dissipate and to disappear into the ether because it's so big.
It's like a dark hole in that Bangor back room. It's like you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
But an echo as well.
But not when we were there. Not with that 19 people. And it's like towards the end of the day, most of the competition's gone. Most of the people have gone home. There's like 19, there's 19 of us going absolute crazy for Theo and Laurent, who were lifting in the last group. And half of that group, so maybe 10 other people then in the hall, just watching the weightlifting competition. We're just going mental for Theo and Laurent. We can that room, that Bangor hall could have been full of other people, and we still would have we didn't care less. We just absolutely loved it. And that's my earliest memories of Willpower, was having that support and having that kind of atmosphere of like I've lifted, I'm done for the day, but you're lifting now, and I'm going to support you. I'm still going to give you that energy, and to keep it on going in a small group and then into a wider group. And then, Charlie, when you joined in 2019, 2020, just got bigger and bigger and bigger. That's my earliest memories. I always had that sense of having support with weightlifting, which I think is massively needed because it's an individual sport, and it can
be quite a lonely sport.
I think everyone recognizes that.
The platform is a very lonely place.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, like when you are, I remember that first competition, I missed, hit 30, missed 35 on the clean and jerk, and then Geordie put me up to 136 to give me a bit more time to bring someone else out. And I was there sort of like, I got called in a press out on my 35, and I was there just sort of holding it. And back then I would hold a jerk forever. I would wait there for ages. And I was just thinking, like, all I could hear was all of those guys in the back just willing me on. I thought, okay, like I've really got to give it some now. And that did motivate me, that idea of like, I can't let them down now. They're giving me so much support right now. And and I got that clean and jerk, and I really gave it some on that final jerk and made sure I didn't get press out. And I think everyone who's been in that gym or been in environments like that all around the country, I know North Tyneside are very similar. Shout out to North Tyneside Barbell. That gives you a huge lift. Absolutely.
Yeah. You mentioned there the sort of environment. One of the questions I had for you was like, how important do you think training partners are, or like training rivals are in progressing in the sport?
Oh, massive. Because like we've been training partners for years, and some of the sessions where I've either, like, when you're struggling and you're not feeling as great, and you got your partner there who is like willing you on, and you both got similar lifts, that's massive. And I think it's needed for everyone, but also just in terms of you can talk about it in any sort of area of weightlifting, but also like in pace, in terms of like if you're on your own and you've got your clean and jerks, you could spend 2 hours doing it and just take your time and stroll along. But if you've got a partner who you've done and he's like, right, I'm up, chalked up, and you got a pace going and you're in, you're out. And in terms of general training and fatigue and getting better and stuff like that, training partner helps in that instance. But also in terms of mentally and sort of motivation, it's huge. I've always been lucky to have training partners. And I would say, like, I wouldn't, when I train on my own now, when I'm if I'm working or whatever, or if I'm training away, it's just not the same. It's just not the same, not the slightest.
I think you always have to have either, like you said, like a partner or something that you're chasing, whether it's a number or a rival. I think you always have to, just in order just to keep you sharp. And I think the training partner, I think it's only natural to have a competition with someone, but it's the best thing for you both.
Absolutely.
So, I think when you, like, if me and you were training back in the day, or even like me and you train, we've trained, you can be doing completely different lifts. You could be deadlifting and I could be snatching, but I know your numbers and you know my numbers, and I know your numbers, you know my numbers. So if you see that I'm slacking on a number that you think, oh, what the fuck's he doing? Then you're going to motivate me and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Give you a kick up the arse. And we've all had sessions where, you've gone almost kilo for kilo with someone, or they've beaten you, or you've beaten them. But the end result is you've both pushed above what you would have done on your own, I think. And I think that's where people can kind of go wrong in sometimes, where they're so obsessed with trying to beat someone rather than just taking that step back and looking at what they would have done.
How it's benefited them.
How it's benefited them. Like, yes, Nick might have beaten me by 5 kilos, but I've actually dragged myself up by 5 or 10 kilos trying to keep up with someone like Nick.
There's definitely different ways you can go about it. Because I've seen with the latest English lifters trying to qualify, various rivalries from different people from different clubs who aren't friends, and they're focusing so much on what the other guy is doing. I've seen it in the sort of heavyweight classes that they end up both cocking themselves up, and then someone's come through the middle. And that's one way you could have a rivalry, or you can have the rivalry that we've had because we're also friends, where it's like, at the end of the day, no matter who wins in whatever we're doing at the time, we're happy for them, but also we've benefited in ourselves, and it's a mutually sort of agreed, like, hey, we're doing this for us, and it's that kind of camaraderie, and it's a different kind of rivalry.
And we've had the lucky benefit of training with people who are far stronger than us, and we've been with people who we're stronger than. But you can also, it doesn't always have to be about lifting more weight than someone. It can just be on, like, how sharp you're lifting. Like sharing a bar with Geordie or Mikey or someone like that, a Theo or, a Nazi back in the day. Like, these people are always going to lift more than me. But if I'm showing that whatever I'm doing, I'm hitting with just conviction, everything's plumb. If they're having a bit of a stinker or a bit of a bad session, then they're going to feed off me to go, well, he's hitting fucking everything clean and I'm not. So what have I got to do?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter that Geordie's snatching 140 and I'm snatching 100. If I'm creaming it and he's not, then
if you're like
shit together,
if you're nailing
I mean?
your 90%, and they're like struggling at their 90%, they're not thinking, oh, it doesn't matter that my weight is more. They're thinking, well, I'm not at I'm not where they are.
Comparatively, they're having a better day. And it's like you said earlier, when you're training, whether or not we're doing the same lifts or not, but there's almost a certain feeling in the air when you get to like 90%, 95%. Like, I know exactly when you get there, like the room sort of shifts and everyone sort of sits back and waits for you to lift, rather than when you're building up to it. And it's a nice feeling.
Definitely. Talking about that shift in energy, what makes for a good Big Friday? If you could have your dream ideal Big Friday right now, what would happen as soon as you walk in the gym? What's the scenario?
Like, everyone's in a good mood. Like, everyone's in a good mood, whooping and hollering, getting excited. There's a bit of chit chat before. And then we warm up and we'll go in, and the lifts are starting and everyone's hitting a good lift, and that kind of you're still in a good mood and you're having a good time, but now we're training. And I've been in part of Big Fridays where what if it's one or two people who aren't in that mindset and they've had a bad day at work or something's gone wrong and they've come in a bit of foul mood, it can cut through the entire group sort of atmosphere like a knife. So in terms of when you have a group of people and everyone's switched on, firing all cylinders, like emotionally, like having a good time, and then we're into training, that just brings everything up. And if someone has a bad training session, they're not going to go off in a strop. They're going to be like, don't worry about it. Like, you're next up, Charlie. Like, go and support him. Yeah. I think you mentioned it before, that Garen lift at 100 kilos. That Big Friday was just a pure example of something like that. Everyone's like loving it. Everyone's having a good time. I think I missed a few lifts on that day, but then Garen's lift was just absolutely incredible, and the entire environment was awesome. That, I think, makes for a good Friday. And if I could have a dream Big Friday, it'd be just a big group of people, all in a great space, all looking to hit big lifts, whether they're training for competition or not, and everyone's in that sort of team mindset of we're all just lifting big here, we're in it together. That, I think that's the key thing to a good
bit of a buzz
Friday.
in the ears, opposed to walking in, everyone's a bit like, I'm a bit sore, I can't be fucked.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about that. Go
Yeah,
big weight.
yeah.
Right, fine enough. Like, put it to the side now. Let's talk about it later.
I think
let's
it
go
was
lift some big lifts.
Dozer was saying about it like sounded really sad to anyone who's not into training, but like one of his favorite things was finishing work on a Friday early, driving to the petrol station and choosing which like energy drink he was gonna get before Big Friday, and you're like, I get it. Like it's part of the routine.
Like the music in the car when you're driving in.
Yeah.
You got a couple of messages from the group chat being like, I'm gonna fucking do you in. Like, fuck
off. I remember one time I wouldn't do the energy drinks. I would have a coffee at the gym. So I would be there having a coffee out of the espresso machine, waiting. And then I think Geordie, Mikey, and a few others turned up in the car, and they had peaked before training. They had taken too much coffee. The music had gone too loud. Yeah. They were like blasting down the M4 from Cardiff, and they came back and they had crashed. So they really mistimed it. But I know exactly that feeling. Like, you leave gym, I leave work early, get to the gym, have a chat with Justin, have a chat with anyone in the office, have a coffee. The people start rolling in. The gym will get fuller and fuller. It's like, right, let's go train. It's like, yes, let's go. I love that feeling.
You think you learned to time it well after a while. You're kind of like, right, I know I'm 25 minutes away from the gym. We're going to start lifting at this time. I'm going to crack this white monster now. Yeah. And then you see a massive traffic,
and then you hit traffic by come back.
Fuck! But to be fair with Geordie, like, towards the Commonwealth Games, I've never seen someone consume as much caffeine as he
gum
did.
Yeah,
like smashing 3 or 4 gum in with a monster and something else. And
how many milligrams are in each gum? 100?
250, I think.
Yeah,
I think. And some of them, I think
250 in each one.
In each, I think so. Or
I'm not too sure. But there was enough that I think what did he say he was experimenting with before the British? I think it was like. Didn't he have something like a gram or something like that?
Oh my god!
A gram of caffeine. And he said he was like couldn't see. By
I
the
do
time
remember
he fucking left the arena.
Welsh in 2021. Him and Mikey just had a great competition, and he was there on the benches, just like.
Yeah, I remember we had to. We had to go outside.
Yeah,
because
I remember that.
He was like, I can't. He was like, I'm fucked. Yeah, I need to go outside. I'm gonna fucking pass out and
Yeah.
spew or something. It was like, okay, Geordie.
Let's think about it, buddy.
Nick, what is the most caffeine you've consumed in one go?
Oh god, a lot.
Or one day?
I don't know in terms of grams and milligrams, but I know when it gets to a point, because I get jitters.
Yeah.
And my anxiety goes through the roof.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, this isn't. I get a little eye twitch. I've learned I'm quite susceptible to caffeine. I'm quite sensitive, so I time it perfectly. Either if I need it for work, if I got a long editing session, or if it's for training. Of like, well, I'm not having a coffee now because I need to time it for
and
later.
make the most out of this performance enhancing coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember recently that Charlie Stone gave us the tablets?
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Brutal, he gave us almighty. He came down to the gym and he had a big session. We all ended up having it was a good session. We all had a pretty big session, but like obviously I'm not a massive caffeine person. I'll have like a can of Monster and that'll sort me out. But I'd had my can of Monster, timed it really well, got to the gym. Nick came in, Charlie came in, and we were like warming up, and Stone was like, do you want to try one of these? And you don't say no to Charlie, you just go, yeah, okay. Yeah, and he just gave us a tablet, and he was like, just let it dissolve on your tongue. And fuck me and Nick were we were sat opposite each other on different platforms, and we were just looking at each other, just fucking wired like the fucking
caffeine
squirrel from fucking over the hedge. It was just like
MDMA.
Yeah, just fucking raving in the corner.
Yeah.
But no, we were both sat there like, what on earth is happening here?
I peaked before I hit a lift on the bar because my warm-ups are so long. Never doing that again.
We're talking about memories here, but favorite training memories of your own? Have you got any that spring to mind?
Oh, it'd be definitely the 120 block snatch for me, because that was it was a long time in the making because I come back the year before from shoulder surgery, and it was like that 2021 period.
Yeah.
So I had a good 18 months of lifting without any injuries, and my shoulder was good. I was lifting like more overweight than before the surgery, and Justin sort of said, right, this is the next 8 weeks of training. You're gonna hang snatch 115, and then we're gonna go on to blocks, and then you're gonna block snatch 120. And I was like, okay, great. And then we did the like that, and that's exactly what happened. And I just think in terms of that moment when I hit it, you were there, Tom Eales was there,
Geordie,
everyone was there, Geordie, everyone was there, and a lot of those people were there when I popped my shoulder out 2-3 years before, and a lot of them turned up to the gym when I wasn't lifting. I had my arm in a sling, so that for their first 12 months of training, they didn't see me lift at all, and like, what does Nick do here? Does he do it? Just doing rehab shit in the corner. And that was quite special. Because then we, it was just we're all hugging after, and we're just like, well done. And then I did the 150 clean. That session's pretty
2050. That's fucking cool.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a great total.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers wise for the listeners, what are your kind of numbers at the moment? Let's go snatch, clean, jerk, squats.
So
Best snatch.
Best snatch is 115. From the floor. I just count from the floor. 115. Best clean and jerk is 150. Looking to, well, I'm sure we'll get into that later, but looking to do something else with that. Squat, best squat's 195. Never done 200 actually on the squat. It's just
back squat,
back squat yet.
Yeah.
But I'm not pushing it anytime soon. Not with my knees.
That's not a death
I should
threat.
say that's it. My knees are great. My knees are
Definitely
great. So not interested in pushing that anytime soon. But deadlift, I've done 200 deadlift. But those are my numbers.
Yeah. And for the listener, how old are you?
35.
35.
35,
So you're
I'm a master's now.
Officially a master's
as of
athlete.
January 1st, I was a master's.
Have you got any aspirations for that?
No, not really.
Do you still think you can progress from this point onwards now if you say I want to?
Yeah, absolutely. I found like within the last 5 years of training, it's different. Obviously, you have to manage a lot more, and life's just different in your 30s as well. But in terms of how my body is physically right now, it's probably the best it's ever been in terms of
not in a sling.
I'm not injured. My knees are the most resilient and strongest they've ever been. I've had chronic knee tendonitis before, and that's been an absolute nightmare. My back's in good health. My shoulders work. I'm in a good position right now where I'm really pushing my training and pushing my sort of limits in training. I choose what I push at the moment just based on lifestyle and what's going on with work and whatnot, and I've picked a specific goal. But yeah, you can absolutely progress in your 30s. I have no doubt of that. You've just got to be smarter with it and do it in a way that fits the context of your life. And that's the way I see it right now. But yeah, I would say I train in your 30s and progressing, not a problem.
Yeah. This is something that I kind of think about a lot, and I get asked a lot. Like you just asked there, can you still improve? Can you still improve? Do you feel any different to what you did at 25?
Yes.
Yeah.
In what way?
Just in terms of recovery.
Okay.
Recovery, I know that when I was 25 or 26, I could peak for 4 competitions a year, maybe 4. Now it is I peak for 1, and I know when I get up to that, it's I have to have a bit of a more time to recover and then go again. So the 140 clean jerk, the 140 clean jerk the other day, that was the start of the journey with that particular training goal. But I know that I'm not going to be testing it the week after or the week after that unless we're going for the big PB. But now it's got, okay, but come back down and build up again and really wind up for it.
Okay, question then. At 25, how injured were you compared to what you are now?
Not as I was more injured in my late 20s, but that's because I had a pretty freak accident with a shoulder dislocation, and then you learn how to. I'm less injured now, but that's because I've been injured plenty and I know what to do now.
This is what I kind of mean, right? So I think 30s are going to be. I don't see how you can't improve in your 30s. I think people use that as a big excuse past it. I think people stop caring at the age of 30 and then start going, life takes over, or they start to say, I'm not aiming this at anyone, but they start to use it as an excuse, right? Because me personally, 31 now, just turned 31, I haven't been injured, touch wood. I've got a long-standing injury, but it hasn't stopped me doing anything.
Yeah.
But when I was 25, 26, 27, 28, until I turned about 29, I was the most injured I've ever been. Constantly fighting back issues, calf issues, shoulder issues, like wrists, elbows. And yes, my training was more harder. It was more physical. It was whatever. But I'm lifting more weight now than I was then. I'm also less injured now than I was then. My technique's better now than it was then. So it's like, how couldn't I? Like, in 4 weeks of me snatching again now, I've snatched 110 with a slow pull and 115 from floor. I'm snatching once a week.
Yeah.
Then I was snatching 4 times a week, injured, and snatched 115.
Do you know what? Because you
Like,
asked that.
I can't see a future with me. Like, obviously, it's going to be different now with me having you having kids. Like, if you have kids in the future or you move out, you do whatever. Yeah, that gets in the way.
Yeah.
But I can't see how my body can't do it. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Do you think you go first?
So, sorry. So what I was going to say is, when you're asking that, I was thinking in my head, like, what are you actually asking with this? Because let's say I live now, like when you were 25, what was your goal?
Snatch 20,
Training.
50.
What was your goal?
Training.
Like we didn't give a fuck about anything else. Whereas now, if you asked like, what goes through your head day to day, Sam? Training's probably like 4th or 5th. Like, whereas if I just trained and we just trained and put as much time into it, then yeah, we'd be a lot better than we were at 25. We're further into the game. We probably move better. But if you've got kids, that is a massive stressor. 100%. We've got like jobs now that actually depend on us bringing money in. So that is another stressor that is more important than training. Sleep is probably not as good.
What's sleep?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're very much right in the sense of if training was the goal, it's like you said, other things take over as you get older. And it's not necessarily like your body is worse off. It's worse off because of the lifestyle. Like, you see people who are in their 50s, 60s now, well, let's say 50s, that are legitimately in better shape than a lot of people in their 20s because of the lifestyle. Like, they've had the kids, they've gone through that, they've got their life back, and then they can dedicate more time to, right, I'm going to eat properly. My sleep schedule is pretty good. I'm not that stressed with work because I'm quite financially independent, and their bodies feel great again because that is now a priority as opposed to, like, the fucking grind culture in the 30s.
I agree a lot with what you said there in terms of, I think it's easier maybe in your 30s to go with the excuse of, I'm not where I once was and I'm not in my 20s anymore. And maybe that's because when you're not training, I've felt as in last year, my body felt fantastic when I was training. No aches, no pains, nothing. Rest of the day, walking about, doing anything, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? Like, back hurts and everything. And I think maybe some people get into that mindset of, one, they feel a bit more achy, but also maybe it's number 5th on their list and it's number 6 and it's not the priority anymore. But I think if you want to look at an example of someone in their late 30s, now 40s, who is killing it and is still at the top of this game, is Charlie Stone. Of course. When I went to the 2023 English Championships, 2023, all anyone was ever talking about was Charlie Stone. All the blokes are like, fucking hell, Charlie Stone is still killing it at 37 at that point, or 38. And everyone was like, oh, he's like the example for all of us to look up to be like, we can still keep on doing it. So I think there's not to say that I would say there's no excuse. You can't, it's just, can you make it the priority, and are you sort of willing to push and still be a good weightlifter, or to challenge yourself in that sense? It's important for me.
I think the lessons that you learn in your 20s, if you don't learn them, by the time you're 30, if you haven't learned those lessons, you will never improve past 30. I agree with that. Like, I agree with like times, babies, work, fucking life, all of that shit. But like, if I'm still making the same mistakes that I was when I was 24, when I'm 34, just fucking put me down. Like, I mean, there's no fucking hope, But I just feel you hear that so much online now. Like, I see, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that I see from like the girls' side that I don't see. Like, Sarah usually shows me stuff and it's like skinny talk or skinny Instagram. I don't see that because it's not part of my algorithm. But I also now do see, oh, you're 40, jump on these peptides. Oh, you're 30, jump on TRT. Oh, you're this, jump on this. And it's like, oh, you're 30, are you? Oh, you're fucked. You might as well just get on the scrap heap here. Oh, you're 35. Oh, well, you're even more fucked. You might as well spend 200 quid a month.
There's
on
an
peptides.
agenda there as well, isn't there? There's a certain market that's trying to push to, like, especially on the male side, like a certain individual.
Yeah. And I think it's okay for you to change your perspective in terms of having, like you said there, like having your training goals as like 4th on your list now. But then I don't agree with then saying, oh, it's because of I'm 32, I'm out of my prime. No, it's just because you're rightfully so in some respects, you've just changed your order in what you have. And I think, like you've said a couple of times on your Instagram post where you've said, like, here's a 45-minute session, here's a 40-minute session, here's a 30-minute session. Yeah. Be clever with your time. Yeah. Make it good for a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to train for 2.5 hours because you've got kids at home that need to fucking see you. But in that 35 minutes, you can still train fucking hard. Do you know what I mean?
Very much saying that. Don't get me wrong. I saw a post the other day about, I don't know if you saw it or not, the guy who left his wife in hospital to go and train because he
stupid.
Like, it's bullshit.
You're just a dickhead then, aren't you?
Absolute bullshit. Yeah. So if you if training is your main priority and you've got kids and you've got bills and you've got responsibilities, like, I think you should reevaluate that. It's probably very healthy that it isn't number one on your list. That absolutely does not mean you can progress with it though. You can be very smart about your training. You know, if you can train twice a week. And you say, oh, I want to squat more. You can squat twice a week. You can progress with that. Like, your sleep isn't that bad. Your diet isn't that bad. You can commit to it. You're not going to be everything. You're not going to be the absolute best you've ever been.
No, of course not.
But can you progress?
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So going back onto the path now. We went off on quite a big tangent then.
Was the question massive?
So you've done competitions all over the place. Yeah. And you've also recently done one, or was it last year? Or was it the beginning of the year in Germany?
Last year, yeah. Last year. Last October.
So you went to Germany to compete in, was it a Lu Xiaojun?
The Lu Xiaojun Open, yeah. They had like partnered with Lu Xiaojun. So like Lu Xiaojun were the sort of the sponsor, but then it was an open competition, so you didn't have to be affiliated with the German Federation to compete. Anyone can compete. So
cool.
That was really cool. Really cool. So yeah, that's what that was.
How was that?
Oh, phenomenal. Fair play. Like so I went with a small group from one of my weightlifting clubs. I'm part of Ronin and I'm part of SSC weightlifting.
Yeah. Shout out Ronin, shout out SSC.
But so I went with some of the Ronin lifters, and in terms of so from a personal competition standpoint, best competition I've ever had. And
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. See, proof's in the fucking pudding. See, fuck all of you.
Yeah. I had my first 6 for 6 performance.
How old?
34.
There you go.
There you go. Hit a competition PB of 115 on the platform, and did 141 in the clean and jerk. And that's with leading up to that 8 months of not going heavy at all.
Yeah.
And that's a benefit of being in the sport for so long. I can just sort of do a minimum volume, keep ticking over, and still be able to perform. So I think, but also in terms of a fact that there was really no pressure that I put on myself whatsoever to perform. I think in my 20s, there's always a tendency to be like, I need to hit this total so I can qualify for this competition, so I can hit this total to qualify for that competition to be able to get to whatever. And there's always that pressure of, I need to hit the total and I need to perform. Whereas this was, I don't know where I'm at. Like, you know, I've had...
have fun with it.
Have fun with it. So on the day... leading up to it, I think I hit 100, 120 the week before. Bear in mind, I hadn't gone over 80 or 100.
So that's 100 snatch.
Yeah, 100 snatch, 120 clean jerk the week before. For the sort of 8 months up to that, maybe even a year, I hadn't gone anywhere near that. And then on the day, I spoke to Chris. I'm like, what do you want to hit? I said, well, let's see how it goes. So hit 100 in the back room. Chris went, right, we'll open at 105 on the snatch. So hit 105, no problem. And then what do you want next? I said, score 110. So put 110 on, hit 110, no problem. And at that point, my best competition snatch was 114 at a lighter weight class a couple of years before. And Chris went, what do you want? I said, well, it's only 15 really, isn't it? Like, I can't... like
jump to 20.
I can't... I can't go below 14. I can't hit 14 because in my mind, it's just... not right.
Same,
It's just the same. I said, well, let's just put 15 on, and I just hit it. And I just made the lift, and it was fantastic. And there was that. It was just that. The only focus at the time was just the process. How's the snatch feeling? How's the pull feeling? How's my balance in the feet, which is stuff we've been working on. So then everything else was just whatever happens. We're not focusing on the outcome. We're focusing on the process. And then after that, absolutely happy days. Went on to the clean and jerk, and let's just see how it feels in the back room. Opened at 30, probably maybe could have opened a bit heavier. Opened at 30, hit 35, and then hit 41. Just for the sake of, I can't remember the reasoning behind it, but we just put 141 on, and then had a 6-6 performance, and it was fantastic. In terms of the competition itself, German run competitions was my first experience of a competition abroad, and it was fucking fantastic. It was brilliant. It was incredibly efficient. The atmosphere was brilliant. There'd be a slow clap for every single lifter. They'd be like clap. They had these
the ratchet things.
Yeah, one of them. I don't know what they're called.
I got no idea. I know what you mean though.
But again, a bit party atmosphere in the same kind of halls that we've competed in, like a Bangor and whatnot. A big hall, not a huge lot of people in there, but in terms of like the sort of organization around creating that atmosphere, it was brilliant. And after the competition, you get a nice little certificate. Whether you like, regardless, you get a competing certificate, your name, what you hit, snatch, clean and jerk total, signed off by the president of the German Weight Federation.
Cool.
So I now have a certificate saying I competed at that competition.
That's cool.
And it was just brilliant in terms of, there was an instance where in my group, someone broke the floor in the back room. One of the guys that was like snatching 130, like massive, stupid weight.
What are the floors made out of to break?
It was, imagine like a leisure centre.
Like wooden,
wooden,
basketball court sort of thing.
So I was helping Chris in the next group, and they, the organisers gathered us all around and said, everyone, can you come here? So we'll stand in a circle. And he said, so the floor has broken. We are going to move the back room downstairs. So imagine this, this leisure centre. There was a downstairs with another gym. He said, we are going to move the competition downstairs. We maybe be 10 minutes late. And by the time he's telling us this, the whole competition's being moved as he's talking to us. So within the space of 10 minutes, they had just come up with a new plan, agreed on the plan, executed the plan, and the whole it all be moved. The German efficiency, I've heard about it before, but in terms of seeing it firsthand, and they wired up big extension cables from the competition out of the hall, down the stairs to a table. They had a phone system to call up the people upstairs. There was a few teething problems with the first lift, and now
still fucking. Like if that happens in this country, the competition's getting fucking abandoned.
I would agree. They'd be dilly-dallying on what to do and then maybe abandon the competition. That's how I feel like it would go down. And in terms of value for money, like me, Chris, and a few others, we went to that competition in Germany. We then went to the British a week later. We spent more at Germany, but in terms of what we felt like our value for money, it was just phenomenal. I think in terms of like the British end later on, it was in Birmingham, the NEC, it was stupid expensive for food. Just in terms of like how I would like a competition, not to shit on British weightlifting or how they run competitions, they do a fantastic job. But in terms of what I felt like I got out of it as an athlete and a competitor, I felt like it was just phenomenal. And I would recommend anyone who wants to lift, save up some money, go abroad, and don't lift in your backyard. If you want to test yourself, go abroad, because where you're not close to your home, you have to travel. I forgot my knee sleeves, my knee wraps, and Chris ended up giving me his knee sleeves, and that was like a test for me as a weightlifter. And I recommend anyone should do it because you get a better competition experience, and it tests you yourself. Like this is like how do you perform when you're away from your home gym or somewhere where you're comfortable. Absolutely do that. Recommend it to anyone.
So have you got any aspirations to compete again? I've got a question here. What gets you up for training now? Is there competitions in the future that you're thinking about?
Definitely. I would definitely like to compete again. In terms of this year, me and Chris spoke about earlier on in the year. This summer now is incredibly busy for me for work, and we sort of looked at like, okay, well, when are we going to compete? If we're going to compete, And if not, like, what's the plan? And I sort of turned around and said, I really want to push myself in weightlifting, but I don't have the time to dedicate for competition prep. Plus, I don't know which competition I would pick because I normally work most of them. So we decided, I said, I reckon, like, I wanted to be able to do a heavy, clean jerk, one clean, 2 jerks. And 140 I knew I was capable of, but 150 is kind of scary to say out loud because that's my best ever clean and jerk. So I said to him, let's do that. That's a goal. It's really sort of, it's achievable in terms of a sense that I think I can do it, but it would require a lot of work. And it doesn't have the same pressure or sort of mental energy that a competition preparation would require. So I won't be competing this year. I would like to compete again. I don't know if I would compete at a Masters competition, unless it was at a venue abroad that I really wanted to go to that country and make a bit of a holiday out of it. Personally, for me, Personally, for me, I just don't feel I don't get the same excitement out of competing at a Masters with people who are 35 and above. I want to put myself up against senior lifters.
Just compete.
Exactly.
Would you say the hardest part about that complex would be the re-rack?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's one of those things. A lot of people like in class struggle with it because it's kind of you never get taught it. Re-racking 150 kilos is.
Geordie who helped me with my re-racks and helped me understand how to think about it. It made sense to me when he said it. It's just like a reverse push press. Now I feel like a lot of people that would confuse a lot of people, but when he said that to me, I went, okay, I understand.
I can see because he was like meticulous with it. I can see him in his head now, like bending his knees first, lowering it down, and then meeting it. And
exactly. The hardest part I would say is the jerk, but also then in terms of like, I have to make sure that I'm super on top of my knee rehab and constantly making sure that I'm keeping that tendonitis away, keeping them resilient. I'm trying to focus now at the moment on not wearing my knee sleeves or wraps in training, even if I'm front squatting, and to only use them for the super heavy lifts. And it's just in terms of having that mindset of just trying to be a bit more sort of anti-fragile and have a bit more of an attack mindset of being like, these knees aren't fragile, they're not bad. I just like the comfort of tightening up the knee sleeves.
This is to help me, not because I need
it. Exactly. So trying to focus more on having stronger knees, making sure those tendons are like absolutely shit hot. And I've done a lot of isometric work through that. I would say that as well, because when you re-rack, you are like the force is and the tendons are going to absorb that shock.
And it's not 150 kilos, is it? It's 150 kilos plus the force it's coming down with. So that would be an awful lot.
Twice. Exactly. With the clean as well.
That's a tasty concept.
So that's my current goal for now.
Great.
That's a cool goal.
Yeah.
Be a bit of a flex as well. I'd love to be able to say I had that.
Yeah, that's a pretty beefy complex here. Well, you're guaranteeing then if you can clean jerk 150, then you can definitely clean jerk more than 50.
Speed said that straight away. He went, once you do it, we're going for 60. I was like, oh, fuck.
So you mentioned grip and rip at the start, and you gave us quite a timeline of events. I want to go through because how long have you been doing grip and rip for now? Sorry,
it was August 2022 when I started.
2022. Okay, so you visited pretty much every club, lifting club in the UK now, all over the country. So you've done what? All the UK. You've done Ireland. You've gone abroad. You've gone Scotland. You've done.
I haven't done Scotland actually.
Sorry, you went up to Scotland with
the Celtics.
Yeah, with the Celtics.
But, tier 3s there aren't as many tier 3s in weightlifting Scotland. And whenever they've done the Scottish National Championships, it has just been the same day as the Welsh. And being Welsh and it being closer, they always book me in sooner.
So, having visited all of these clubs, what qualities do you think you need to have to make a good weightlifting club?
Club or competition?
Club.
Okay, so let's have a think here. First, I guess shared values. Like everyone who's in that club is sort of the same mindset of what matters for the club in terms of weightlifting sense. But not only that, there's also then the community aspect as well, because not all weightlifting clubs are full of weightlifting members. They're full of other members as well who are just doing general SSC and other aspects. So the sort of I would say the intention to help with the club and make the club the best that it is for everyone, I think is probably the biggest sort of attribute to that. But then within that, then you have those individuals who are the sort of decision makers or leaders in that sense.
The figureheads of it.
The figureheads who are pushing that kind of agenda, or not agenda, but pushing that mindset. I say that's what makes a great weightlifting clubs, and the clubs I've seen who are like that run the best competitions as well, because then it transfers over then to running a competition. It's a bunch of people making sure the competition runs really well, not just like one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a favorite club to film out of?
Ooh. It's really hard to answer that one. It's really
Go
hard.
top 3 if you need to. If you're going to upset people,
Don't want to leave anyone out. Do you?
Yeah, I don't want to leave anyone out because I love every single competition I've gone to. I can't pick just one. I would say Wild Boar is a special place in my heart because they were one of the firsts, and I asked, please, and they were like, can I come film your weightlifting competition? And they went, what the fuck is Grip and Rip? Like, who gave you a chance? Yeah, they gave me a shot. And just the week before then, it was Lakeside as well. So
Lakeside.
Yeah, Lakeside weightlifting.
That's a mad back room, that is.
Yeah, well, that one was that was outside.
Because the platform is outside in the, like, they have the marquee over the top.
Exactly. So my first competition was Lakeside, and I unfortunately haven't been able to go back since. Wild Boar holds a special place in my heart because it's closer to me, and I've trained with them, and I know them, and I've gone to nearly everyone since. I think I've gone to 8 of them now. But like Lakeside was the first one, and that was done outside, and I got sunburned. So why would I take sun cream to a weightlifting competition? I thought. And then I got there, went, oh, outside are we? And there's a photo of me with my camera with my a t-shirt over me, just trying to stay out of the sun. So yeah, Lakeside, Wild Boar, I would say is a special one to compete at. To film at. Trying to think now. Liverpool is really good. I do enjoy going to Liverpool. I want to compete at a Liverpool comp because it's done so well. So I would say, who else? It's really hard to say. I would say Crazy Strength then would be the other one I put in with Craig. Craig's a great bloke.
What's the gym called? Apologies, I've forgotten what the gym's called. That you made a film about recently. Gareth Dykes trains out of there. And
yes, Evolution Barbell.
Evolution Barbell.
Yeah,
They've got some really cool vibes and ideas.
They got really great vibes. I met them through competition. Got to know Samuel Heenan. Knew Gareth from when he was at Psych before. But yeah, I always see them at a competition. I would film them, and they would have the similar kind of energy that I was used to as a weightlifter. You film one person on one platform, and in the background there's 6 people just going celebrating, going mental for them. I sort of put out there to sort of my Grip and Rip audience that I wanted to work more with clubs and do more sort of film projects like that. And Sam was one of the ones who went, yeah, I'll absolutely take you up on this.
Sam,
And I went up there, and one of the things that they needed to.
Same size.
I had no idea what I was then. One of the things that they really needed for their club was a bigger space. So I said, okay, well, let's focus on a project that promotes the club, promotes all the good work that you do within the community, not just within weightlifting, but overall in that Shrewsbury area.
Aren't they doing a lot with charity as well?
Yes, they do a hell of a lot in terms of bringing different groups of people in for S&C training, doing a lot with cancer patients, helping them in terms of just being more physically able and healthy during their treatment.
Yeah.
They do a shit ton. But the space that they train at,
I've seen it. It looks cool.
Looks great, but tiny. Filming in that was a struggle. And they just need a bit they need a bigger space, essentially. But they can't take on more members because they can't fit more people in there because it's so small.
Yeah.
It's basically a
Catch
shed.
22.
Yeah, it's a shed right next to a rugby club in Shrewsbury.
It's hard then because you have to take a chance in the anticipation that you will get more members without actually being able to pay the bills.
Yeah, so the project we were working on was to promote the club and all the good they're doing, and try to make sort of then once they have that media and that film as such, to make a case then for sort of funding from like local authorities or grants and whatnot to try and get those applications successful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that, like you said there, well, what qualities you think? I think just having an honest club, just like genuine people, genuinely in love with the sport. Good for the community. I think even if you start off if they've started off in a really small arena or small unit, I think you're pretty much at some point guaranteed to grow just out of like people liking you, and eventually going, oh, you know what, let's move out. Let's we've got enough members to move out. I don't think that's something that you need to necessarily like rush.
No,
but also, I quite like the vibe of a small gym.
Yeah.
Like when you walk in and everyone's kind of like compact and the energy is like platform.
Yeah.
Platform. I don't, when sometimes you go to these big gyms and there's like, I don't know, a fucking container full of, you can kind of get lost in.
It's hard to be personal then,
Yeah,
because you've got all these little clusters.
It's a balance, I think,
Yeah.
because when I was filming there were people who would take a lift and then they would like stand against the wall.
Yeah. Where safety becomes an issue.
And you if you walking forward with a snatch is not a thing
Game
at that
over.
gym because there's literally there's smaller than this room, to be honest with you, in terms of width between.
It's cool as fuck.
But
Fair play.
they are a fantastic club.
Make it work in
I loved. I had a great chance. So if there's not a weightlifting competition before I started this initiative of working with clubs directly, if you didn't run a weightlifting competition, I probably wouldn't go to your club. I would film competitions at clubs, and because their space is so small, they never ran tier 3 comps. But I would always see them at comps, and they're a terrific group of people, like super kind. Like, you chat to them at competitions all the time. They'll have time for everyone, even if they're busy coaching other people and whatnot. They're a great club. I love them to bits. They're brilliant.
Shout out you guys. I guarantee you'll probably get a bigger unit and crack on with whatever you're going to do anyway. I think you've got a load of questions there from listeners, and I've got a couple of questions left. Do you want to finish on those?
Do you want to go
You can go through those. So
okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
So you go through those while I grab mine.
Shout out Pewee. Pewee has asked. He's asked quite a few questions actually. What's the biggest lessons you've learned from creating content for socials?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that making something interesting is a skill and a language that you absolutely have to learn. And if you want to get whatever message you're advocating for out there, or if you're trying to run a business and to promote it out there, you have an idea, and the idea may be good, but you have to find a way to communicate it in a way that is interesting. And people think that's just a personality trait, and it's not. It takes a hell of a lot of work. You have to learn. You have to really figure out what works, and be okay with putting a lot of stuff out there, it not doing well, and then go in like, okay, why did it not do well? How can I make this better? I would say that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that just because your idea is good and you like it and you think this is shit hot, you have to figure out a way to package it in a way that makes people go, oh yeah, I'll look at that. Because people are getting fucking bombarded every day on socials with stuff, and you really have to make sure your thing stands out.
I was going to say, the thing that when you put videos up that stands out to me is the amount of effort that you can tell has gone into it. When I can't explain it, but if you watch one of Nick's videos, you're like, this is taken some time to, unless you're really good at it and you just do it like that. But to me, for me to make a video like that, it would take me weeks.
I think the point I've gotten to now is knowing when that if you like, 'cause when I first started, it would take me a long time to make a video like that, and I would put a hell of a lot of effort into it. So imagine putting loads of effort into something and the result doesn't match the effort.
That's what we do
every
week.
It can be demoralizing. So first you have to have like a memory of a goldfish, and you just have to be like, forget about it, move on to the next one. But then you got to get to a point where it's like, okay, what's good enough? Do I need to put more effort into it and make this absolutely perfect, or is this good enough for now? And then can you make it 1% better the next time and the next time? That's something within the last 2 years I've had to really hammer into my brain and get rid of that perfectionism. Just like, okay, good enough.
Post it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. How well did I do? Learn, move on to the next one, and just keep on building and building.
Yeah.
If you could pick any weightlifter, past or present, to follow and make a documentary about, who would you choose?
It'd have to be David Morgan. I'm a big fan of David Morgan.
You had him on the podcast.
I had him on the podcast.
Yeah.
And just in terms of he was part of a weightlifting generation and era that didn't have the media attention that this generation now has. And it's just a crying shame, because those guys were incredible. And he, in terms of not just as a weightlifter, but as a Commonwealth Games athlete overall, he's done stuff that no one else has done. I've heard stories of some of the cool shit he would do in a back room, and funny stories of him at competitions. But went to six Commonwealth Games, won medals,
crazy.
Champion at 5 of them, won a silver medal in Manchester when he was 37. I think, and just
Can you get better past 35?
just part of that generation of and there are loads of lifters in the UK of that generation who are phenomenal. He's one, but I would pick any one of them to follow about. There's all sorts of insane stories. of that generation. Absolutely.
That's cool. Do you want to go with Gareth?
They both have Gav.
Oh,
That one?
Yeah, go for it.
What's your favorite picture or video that you've captured?
Ooh.
It's so hard to pick favorites, isn't it? And
I think my favorite one is Alex McKay's 70 clean and jerk from the 2022 British. In the end, it got about 20 million views. But I posted it because at the time when I saw it, it was a fucking gutsy lift. She got pinned in the clean. She stood up once.
Oh, I know the one you're
Yeah,
about.
you know exactly what. Yeah, and it stood up once, got pinned down
Crazy
again,
fight.
and then just went like screamed and like stood up with it, and then smoked the jerk. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm posting that because I liked it. And anything that's done really well or gone viral is just something that I haven't tried to go viral. It's just like I like that. I want to post it. I think that's worth showing. So for that reason, it was a case of it did really well. It was one of my best performing videos, and it was just in terms of like for me pure weightlifting grit, which I really like. I have an affinity for that kind of stuff. Just a phenomenal lift. And she's like 54 kilos or whatever, ridiculous
crazy.
weight,
Over body weight.
Over body weight, like I think it was 70 or 72 kilos is insane. So that's my favorite grip and rip video by far. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. If you could film any other sport other than weightlifting, what would it be?
I'd probably say rugby. Just because I feel like that'd be the natural next step to go to. I think that there's some like
Not high rocks.
No. Sorry, no. No, definitely be rugby. Or American football. Some of the cinematographers, cinematographers out of American football, because they have the luxury of there's no barrier.
So on the pitch.
You are on the pitch, so you can be as close to. You're not allowed on the field of play, but you're like you can be as close to the pitch as possible. There's a risk.
At your own risk. Yeah.
There's at your own risk. If a player comes off the side and doesn't see you and runs into you and you get hit and your camera's broken, that's on you, brother.
That's shit.
In rugby, you're behind the barrier and the barrier's maybe this high, so your shot is here and
that
above.
high.
It makes a difference if you're able to go low and look up. People look a bit stronger, a bit powerful. It's like the hero shot. That's what they call it. And in American football, you get to do that. And some of the cinematography in that is I just find insane. So if I had in another universe, if I was over in America, I would have loved to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a cool answer.
You got two there, which I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know what
you should know. It's one's from Gaz, and one's from Geordie. So be prepared.
So I'll go with Gaz's first. How do you, Nick, balance your work/life with your rap alias of Scoochie Boochie?
Oh, I'm not talking about Scoochie Boochie. that's another life.
Scoochie Boochie is like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Do you want to read Geordie's?
Yeah. Geordie said, ask him about his blogs when he first started. The platform is a canvas he paints red with blood.
Don't know what he's on about. That's slander.
No idea. Sorry, mate.
I was young and naive at once. That's all I'll say on that one.
Yeah, we've all done that.
Yeah, stupid shit on the internet.
Yeah, we still do it now.
Grip and Rip then. So to end it, Grip and Rip. So have you got any big plans for Grip and Rip going on in the future?
Just to try and keep it on as much as I can. I'm quite content to where I've gotten it. When I started Grip and Rip, like Ramsey had left the space for a good couple of years. I think some external companies had turned up just before the games and done well before that, but then they had vanished by the time I turned up. So when I started doing it in late 2022, there wasn't a single media space around doing weightlifting media. Then, so let's say, for example, when I went to the English, there was two platforms and I was just covering the one, and people would be like, why is the second one not getting covered? I'm like, because no one exists to do it. And then a year later, Phil from the platform turned up and he started doing it.
Sure,
and then Jess and Aaron from TO, the bar, they started doing some media, and it's just grown and grown and grown to the place where I feel like now if I stopped doing Grip and Rip, it's covered. Like there's enough media going on within UK weightlifting. Everyone it has the spotlights on it, and it's getting the sort of like coverage that it deserves. And I'm happy that I was part of that journey. Before me, it was Ramsey. And so I'm quite content now that I've done my bit. So do it for as long as I can. I have sort of other goals and aspirations and other things I want to do in terms of like business and work and stuff that I'll be doing in the future. So yeah, just keep on doing it for as long as I can. I got the Irish Championships coming up in a few weeks, which is going to be great. We look forward to that.
Yeah, cool.
And just keep on doing it for as long as I can. And yeah, I'm pretty happy where I've taken it.
Yeah. I think, mate, you know, the media side in the sport has totally been, I would say, transformed by the kind of stuff that you've done. And I think we've had conversations with it before where it's almost you're almost your own worst enemy, where because you've become so big in the sport, now people have seen the opportunity to go and do that, whereas you were almost one of the first, other than, you know, Ramsey, to kind of take the step and go, right, fuck it, I'm going to make this my job, and I'm actually going to make this a full-time thing. Whereas now you've almost made a rod for your own back, because everyone's going, oh, I want a piece of that. That looks good.
And now I've lost my business. I've lost half my business overnight.
But, you know, I don't think you should stop. I think, you know, the quality in your work that you do, it shows. I think the relationships you've built with clubs around the UK, I think not many people trust anyone like they would trust you with the media side of running a competition. And I think, you know, if you were to stick at it and you were to just keep plugging away, I think you'll outlast pretty much anyone else. Agree, because I think the relationships you've built over the last 5 years, whatever it is, you know, you can't buy that. No. You know, you can't buy a relationship. And I think most people, or most clubs that I know personally, you know, I know coaches and members, I know for a fact that if they were running a competition at their place and they were like, oh, we need someone to film, ask Nick. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like, you know, when me and Meg did our competition, first person we asked, right, get Nick in. And obviously you're my friend and you're, you know, Meg's friend and whatnot. And it's at your old club.
It's almost,
but
it's 5 minutes from my house.
But it, you know, that if you weren't good at what you were doing, I wouldn't have asked. You know what I mean? So people clearly know that, you know, you're driving the sport forward in the right way. And I think if you can keep it going, definitely keep it going.
I think before the pod, you sent me a message, asked me what I was most proudest of. And I think it's the fact that I've done it. I think I've done 1,000 posts, over 1,000 posts on Instagram of British weightlifting, from local level competitions to national championships. And that's 1,000 posts that didn't exist before in British weightlifting. And that's what I'm probably most proudest of. Really happy I've done it.
I think where there is a place for the weightlifting houses and the All Things gyms in the world that need to promote the, you know, the elite of the elite and show the Carlos Nassars and the Lu Xiaojuns and all that nonsense, you know, realistically, the fans are the things that drive the sport. And I think as a fan, seeing your video up on a grip and rip is like, oh, fuck. Like, he's promoted my video for that reason. And, you know, that girl getting 22 million views. I know it's on your page, but like, she can be like, fucking hell. My lift got 22 million views. Obviously, like I said, it's posted on your page, but, you know, I know people love when you've gone to a competition, you post a lift in the day, or you keep people updated with what's going on in the day. I know people love that. So I think, you know, you offer a service that not many people give.
And what I hope I've done is I've shown other people that it's doable. And I would say to anyone who is thinking about doing it, absolutely do it. When you go to like a Europeans or world, there's more red tape. If you go to a British now, there's more red tape. But you can have, like, if you go to a local competition and you build that relationship and you know them really well, you can go anywhere in the competition that you like, and you can be as creative as you want. You can make whatever you can make. So I would absolutely say, I would like to think that I've shown people, hey, this is doable. It can be financially viable to a point. You're not going to make millions. That's absolutely not going to happen. But you can make a living off of it and work, and, you know, do a good job. And I hope I've shown that.
Yeah, I definitely have, mate. Definitely have.
Thank you.
I think that's wrapped up.
Yeah, actually, saying that, sorry.
I
do have one, because I wanted to ask it like 4 times as I went in, and we just like veered off to something else. So you started with Weightlifting House, and then you went grip and rip on your own.
Yeah.
You weren't ready for it then. If they called you up now, would you be ready for the job?
Oh, I like to think so. Okay. Yeah. They already have incredibly talented people, and I would say there's something in terms of like when you do creative work, like having good taste is quite important. Knowing what's good and being able to like replicate it is really important. I didn't have any sense of taste back then, or in terms of creatively like what is good. And then as years gone on, I've developed that taste, and I see the guys that they work with now, and those guys are phenomenal. They're really creatively good, and I wouldn't, to be honest, they would have no need for me now, because the guys they have are already fantastic. But yeah, I would like to think that I could match that level and reach that level of in terms of creativity and the work they produce. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool. Good answer. Really cool. Thank you. Yeah, I think we'll end it there.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. As always, guys, Usk Stoves MP4 0JL for all of your heating and stove needs. 10% off.
Legends. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.